Today's Small Business Saturday. So obviously the power of local businesses is huge. The power of actually having a storefront is definitely huge. But the people that really, in my opinion, will win out and will do tremendously well. And this is with a caveat. It all depends on your target market. It all depends on your goal. But the idea is that if you are able to merge the offline with the online, you will be light years ahead of everybody.
You're an entrepreneur, and you make vital decisions that hopefully blossom into a business. You're the savvy, out-of-the-box risk taker who believes wholeheartedly in the process of innovation. Innovation that will change the world. This is CEO Chat with Gresham Harkless, and you're about to embark on a journey through the awesome world of business. Gresham is the epitome of drive and desire as he works to help support small businesses and entrepreneurship. And you're about to learn from this entrepreneur how you can improve your odds of success in the business world. Welcoming the host of CEO Chat, here's Gresham Harkless.
Hello. This is Gresham Harkless from CEO Chat, powered by CBNation.co and Blue 16 Media, your choice for all your web design, SEO, and digital marketing needs. And this is talk number 20 in a series that will become the You Are a Media Company course. And this is second of the final 4 that I'll speak about other types of marketing tools out there, and specifically talking about future predictions in terms of marketing. I know I broke it down for each of the different types of marketing in previous chats, but I'm actually going to go and have an overarching view of about 14 things that I think that are kind of future things that you want to take into account. And this is based off of things that I perceive, but also things that I've read and researched as well too. So I have a lot of resources that are also in the show notes, so be sure to check those out as well too. In the last chats, I basically spoke about podcasting and video, specifically those mediums, and how you can kind of leverage those. But again, this time I'm going to go and take a little bit of a higher view and talk about marketing from a more general perspective and provide you some future predictions based off the research that I have, and also some of the things that I've seen in marketing as well. So as I mentioned, there's going to be 14 things that I break down. A lot of them are going to actually overlap to some degree. So I try to fuse some of them together, but definitely gonna, talk to certain points, but keep in mind, again, there's 14 things. So if I mentioned, in number 6, I might go back to that to kind of show you how those things kind of overlap. But again, if you want to delve down a little bit deeper, I put some of what I think are the better resources that I've seen and people that have had predictions, and some of the predictions that I've used to compile this list as well in the show notes. And this is going into 2018 now, but also into 2019, and I think beyond. You're going to see a lot of these things, and a lot of them you'll definitely hear in previous chats as well too, related to the You Are a Media Company course, where I broke down usually at the end of the group of posts or the group of chats that I talked about a specific marketing medium. I usually talked about the future predictions that I would talk about. So with all that being said, I'm going to start out with number 1, and I think I'd be crazy to not start out with this, where I basically believe this and strongly believe this, and this whole entire kind of content that I've talked about every other podcast and every other episode has been on this idea that every company is a media company. So if you're just listening to this for the first time, and you've heard me say you are a media company in the You Are a Media Company course, the idea is really to break down exactly how you should approach your overall marketing strategy. And the reason that I have this, every company is a media company ideal, is largely because I used to study journalism a lot, and I read about the journalism industry, and I kind of dipped my toe in the journalism industry, did a lot of freelance writing, and I would read a tremendous amount about the journalism industry. And I saw that what was really happening is that these journalistic endeavors or mediums or platforms were becoming a lot more attached to businesses. So what I mean by that is either somebody was they had a local blog, and they decided, because they were trying to generate revenue in an additional way, in addition to advertising, they decided to offer social media consultation, or maybe they did website design, which is what we did in our case, or they did all these different things to add on certain services to what it is that they do, so they can generate more revenue for their business. And you also saw that a lot of the bigger companies were also purchasing these journalistic endeavors, or these media companies. So case in point, you look at somebody like Jeff Bezos, who purchased Amazon, or who owns Amazon and purchased Washington Post. So you start to see that there's a fusion of these two, where it's very, very important, and people understand, how important it is to have and own and have a voice through a media company. And a lot of people, if you have the capital, you can of course buy them, but you can also create your own yourself. So that's kind of like the overall philosophy. And Warren Buffett definitely is notorious for purchasing newspapers as well. So he definitely is a great example as well too, as somebody being a billionaire and also understanding the importance of news, because people are still consuming news at a very high clip. They're just looking at it in an entirely different way, which is kind of changed and maybe even for the better or worse, depending on who you talk to, but it completely transformed the business model in journalism and in the news industry. So the reason I say that every company is a media company is because nowadays, if you are a business owner, if you're an organization, whoever you are, you have at your disposal a tremendous amount of ways that you can create content, and you can create and increase your visibility for your target market. So the idea is that you get really clear on your goal from an organization standpoint, and that could be to generate revenue if you're a nonprofit, or generate maybe fundraising if you're a nonprofit, or generate revenue and increase the amount of sales if you're a business, or maybe it might be you just trying to get a job if you're an individual. But the idea is that you figure out and get crystal clear on your goal, and then you figure out who you're trying to target. And so, like, again, the last example that I just gave, if you are trying to find a job, maybe you understand what type of job you want to give. So if it's a marketing job and you want to be hired as the VP of website management sales, maybe you create your LinkedIn content all around that specific piece so that you can attract those employers that are hiring for that. If you are the person that is running the fundraising campaign for a nonprofit organization, maybe you are deciding to create content that entices your number one person that is probably going to generate to your cause. So you really reverse engineer exactly who you want to connect with, what your goal is, and then you figure out how to create content, what social media sites you're going to be on, or what SEO terms you want to target, and or how you're going to design your website, what images you want to have on your website. You really get into the nuts and bolts, but you do it based off those two things instead of creating it first and then trying to connect with your target market. So that's kind of like the idea of creating and having your own media company. So I think it's going to be something that's very paramount to the success of people in their overall marketing strategies, because there's going to be so many tools out there. There's a lot out there now. There's going to be even more as search and as consumers become more interested in using whatever tool that they feel comfortable with. You're going to see more and more, and search is just going to be so kind of broken down in so many different ways. If you think it is now, wait till there's 10 times the amount of apps that people search for things that they're looking for on, and then there's some that are still looking on websites, and you have your few that are probably looking through newspapers. So search is going to be so fragmented that you want to make sure that you are so dialed into your target market that you're creating your overall marketing strategy around them. So it's definitely something you want to try to keep in mind. Number 2, purpose-driven brands are going to be of huge importance. And this kind of goes into the idea that the consumers have so much power. So if they have a dollar that they want to spend, they prefer to put that dollar towards something that supports a good cause. So what you're going to see is definitely have a lot of these brands, these companies, even if you have an organization, even if you have a local organization, you can show that you're supporting the overall community. People might be more likely to support your company, your organization, or whatever it is that you're building, because it's really about trying to be empowered by using your dollar in order to help support a community brand. So if you do maybe not have the least expensive prices, maybe you can showcase how a portion of your revenue is going towards helping out a specific cause or helping out the local community, or how you're dialed in and you're doing things within the local community. And on the other side of that, you definitely want to check out, CEO Chat number 65 with Tyler Butler. And she talked about CSR and corporate social responsibility and how important it is for businesses to be able to have that kind of ingrained within their culture and within your culture, so that you can continue to do what it is that you're doing from a company standpoint, but you also have this purpose-driven brand that you're developing as well too. So, and it's a great, way to market. You don't do, I say you shouldn't do it specifically for that, but you understand that you also have the opportunity to do really good work and make an impact. And in addition to that, you can also have a successful business as well. So it's definitely something you want to try to keep in mind. Number 3, marketing automation. That's going to be even more and more important as these computers and these algorithms are becoming more and more intelligent about like how consumers are taking in their content. You're going to be able to create an automated response for whatever situation people are in. And this is going to be what I'm going to touch on next. It could be chatbots, but it can also be something as far as how you're creating your email campaign, what emails a person gets, what emails a person doesn't get, when they purchase a product, what message are they going to get a customized message based off the product that they purchase. And if you understand that 75% of the people that purchase one product will purchase another, maybe you decide to send an email campaign featuring that other product, so that increases the likelihood of them using and purchasing again. So a lot of this will be automated. It's not like you're manually going to do those things. You're going to base it off the data that you have, because everything should be getting tracked, because you should have analytics through everything that you're doing. So you should be able to see exactly how people are interacting with your overall brand and your company and your organization, so that you can make really intelligent decisions based off of all this data. And you're able to test out multiple things, but the idea is so that you can automate as much of that as possible, so that you can hopefully manage your time, so that you can spend more time, I think, on the strategy and the execution of it, and looking at the actual data to make those predictions and those decisions based off of how you want to connect with your target client. So it's definitely something important to keep in mind, and understand that that's only going to continue to grow next year and in future years as well. So number 4, I touched on it, and it's chatbots. Chatbots are going to be huge. When you go to websites and you see that you see a chatbot that comes up, especially Facebook Messenger, a lot of people will have that installed on their website. I saw it a lot when it first became available. I'm not seeing it as much now, but I believe that you will see it more and more and more. It may not necessarily be the Facebook one. Like if you go to Blue 16 Media, we have a chatbot that's on the website as well, and it's a way for people to definitely interact with us. And we use a platform called Drift. But the idea is that you can send a direct conversation to people, and you can have that conversation around what it is that you need. And I think it's something that's going to be really, really big as well. It's going to continue to grow, because people are more likely to want to have a conversation, be able to ask exactly what it is that they're looking for. And if they're able to have a chat with somebody, so that they know that they're looking for this piece of content, or maybe this price, or whether or not you provide this amount of service, or what's the best way for you to donate to a particular cause, and you're able to go to see a chatbot, that will make everything so much better. Because especially those people that don't have, and when I say well-designed websites, I mean that from the idea that your target market goes to your website and they know exactly how to navigate it without any questions. They don't have to, take or delay any seconds to figure out where something is. But because you've designed your website that's so in line with your target market, you may not necessarily need the chatbots. But because people are consuming content, taking in content in multiple ways, they're entering websites, not just on the homepage, you're going to see that those chatbots are going to be huge because it's going to help you kind of level up your overall customer experience by being able to connect with people that way. And another thing, another kind of app or platform you might want to check out is Kit, K-I-T, if I pronounce that correctly. It's something that is like a marketing assistant for Shopify. Something really cool that's completely free. But basically what it does is it automates a lot of your overall store that you have through Shopify. So you're going to be able to create campaigns, send emails, send out Facebook ads, and it's just going to send you a text message just asking you if you want to do X, Y, and Z. And you can say yay or nay. You can see and run reports, and this is all from texting. So it makes it so much easier to kind of have a better control over your marketing, especially if you're on the go and you're juggling a million and one things. Again, it just makes it so much easier. So not only does that help you out if you have a Shopify store, but if you're going to a specific website and you want to be able to interact with somebody, it makes it so much easier. So another big thing that has been growing, will continue to grow, is experiential marketing. Experiences are literally everything. And I always mention this specifically in the restaurant industry because you can literally order just about anything you want and have it delivered directly to your door. So there's not really a reason to go anywhere. Other than having an experience, other than maybe getting out. So if you want to order, from a specific restaurant that's down the street, you can literally use DoorDash or Uber Eats and have it delivered directly to you. However, you're not going to get that experience. So what's happening now is you're having to provide a really high quality experience for somebody that's going to a restaurant. Now let's extrapolate that. That's not just say that that's just in the restaurant industry. That's literally everywhere. When you start to really understand that, if you provide content, you provide answers or questions and answers, you're not the only one that's providing the answer to this specific question. You're going to have to be able to provide a really high quality experience for the person to go to your website. So what does that mean? It can mean everything from, just having a great, user experience where it has videos, it has maybe a podcast embedded. It's laid out in the perfect way so that will be the only way you really want to experience that website. You want to go to that website because it's a good experience. It looks really cool. It loads up, very fast on your mobile app, and all of those things are all checked off. So it's a great experience. It's not just a restaurant. It's when people will want to go to your website. So you want to understand and keep in mind that you really want to provide an exceptional customer experience, and experiential marketing is going to be huge in terms of doing that. And as this world, in this digital world, specifically using platforms like Amazon Web, a mobile project, understand that the idea from their perspective is to increase the overall speed of the website so that you can find the information as fast as possible. Now, the only thing that is going to basically conflict with that is if you have a great user experience. So if I can get and find the answer to my question through, through Google Accelerated Mobile Project, through Google AMP, if I can find what I'm looking for as quickly as possible, why would I go to your website? That's where you have to provide a really great experience. Maybe there's something that you provide on that website that is not going to be the same experience on Google AMP, and a lot of that is largely because you are able to customize it to a larger degree than you could your AMP. So the idea is that you want to again provide a phenomenal customer experience. So that's number 5. Number 6, customers are in control, and knowledge of the client will win out all of the time. I'll go back to number 1, and I'll say every company is a media company. The reason that I brought that up is the 2 things that I mentioned were your goal and then your target market. Who are you trying to target? The reason that you want to know this information is because, like I said in number 6, customers are in control. They literally will control everything. And it's not if you let them, they are in control, because we have these smart devices where you can literally find anything that you're looking for. You can find it for whatever price that you're looking for. You have to understand that you have to cater to customers. And when I say cater to customers, I mean that you really have to have that red carpet treatment. And that's where you start to drill down and understand who your ideal clients are, because once you get that crystal clear, you understand how to roll out that red carpet. If it's even a red carpet, if it's your target client might not even like the color red, so maybe it's a blue carpet. But the idea is that you're so dialed into your target market that you're going to be able to provide an exceptional experience for them. So that's why I say knowledge of client will win out. And I think that knowledge of your target client is something that you will continuously have to learn about, because it will constantly change. Their experiences will change, their actions will change. So you have to be dialed into your target client, and you have to do the testing of different ideas. You have to do focus groups. You have to do polls, all that information, because that data is going to help you to win out as a business, as an organization, because you know front, back, side to side, everything there is to know about your target client. So once you understand that, while they are in control, you understand that you're also in control, because you are so dialed into them that you can provide their service even before they even ask or think about it. And that's a lot of what you're seeing, as I'll talk about a little bit more in the AI, machine learning, and customization. I'll talk a little bit more into that. But the idea is that if I have an Amazon shopping cart, and Amazon's so dialed into the amount of products that I have that it lets me know when I run out of dishwashing liquid, or when I'm about to run out of dishwashing liquid, or based off of my history that every 30 days I purchase dishwashing liquid, maybe they're going to say, hey, Gresh, do you want to order dishwashing liquid? Because you've ordered it at the same time for the last 3, 4, 5 months, whatever it is. So that's going to be so dialed in that they understand all this information that they have on me, that they're able to provide a really high quality experience, because I don't want to end up trying to, wash my dishes and I don't have any dishwashing liquid, because that would not be fun at all. So the idea is that the consumers are in control, but it allows you to provide a really high quality service opportunity for your clients, because you do and are able to take advantage of all that knowledge. Number 7, authenticity is key, and human interaction is literally everything. So the reason that authenticity is key is going to be, some of the things that I talk about, next, and definitely in number 14. The reason that authenticity is key is largely because people have all this information at their disposal, as I just talked about in number 6. Not just, what price, or is this the lowest price that they can Google for anything. It's also finding out if this company is really providing services. If, for example, in number 2, you promote your company as having a customer, CSR program, and you're not actually implementing that, very quickly consumers can find that out. So being authentic is definitely important, because consumers have so much power at their fingertips, and they will have even more power in the future. So understand that being authentic, being exactly who you are, whether you're a solopreneur or whether you have a team of contractors, you really want to understand exactly that authenticity is key in being who you are and being in alignment with your brand, not just saying something because it sounds cool or if it's a buzzword, but actually being true to your brand. It's going to be probably one of the most important things. And like I mentioned, the human interaction is going to be huge. And, I'm going to talk about, influencers and how important that is. A lot of the big reason that influencers have come about is because the technology has been decreased almost to zero to be able to create content and create a platform. Whether you're using, social media sites or you're creating a website, it's lower than it ever has been. So you're able to basically to use your brand and use essentially who you are to create content, create information, create connections with people. So then all of a sudden you're targeting your target market, and then you're starting to promote brands, or you're creating products, I should say, that are aligned with who you are and what you're about, and also endorsing products that are in line with you. So all of a sudden, you become an influencer. The idea is that you want to leverage that human interaction. So a lot of people are doing what I'm talking about in number 8, which is influencer marketing. So you're either creating that yourself. So there's a lot of people that are making, millions and millions and millions of dollars by being influencers. Take a look at Kylie Jenner. She's definitely, one of the people that have been able to leverage her personal brand in order to generate a tremendous amount of revenue and tremendous amount of influence. But also, keep in mind that these brands understand that they can invest in creating that themselves, or they can find influencers that align with what it is that they're doing, what it is that they're trying to push out. And if that creates a perfect synergy, you're going to see a situation where that person is going to be able to endorse their products, and they're going to be able to both generate revenue, create a win-win situation. So that's why you see a lot of these brands investing in influencer marketing, because they understand that these people, the Kylie Jenners, the Gary Vaynerchuks, the people that have built followings, have been able to cultivate a relationship with their followers and being true to who they are, as we talked about number 7, authentic, and they're able to find products and services, if not create them themselves, that align with their overall mission. So it's going to be something that's definitely huge now. It will continue to grow. So understand, influencer marketing is not going anywhere. So here's the big thing about influencer marketing, though. A lot of people think that influencer marketing means you have to have 1.35 million followers on Instagram, or you need to have 400 million followers or likes on Facebook, or you need to have 100 million, 1,000 billion LinkedIn connections. It doesn't mean that at all. Here's the thing. Because this day and age, you are able to drill down to who exactly you want to target. As I talked about in number 1, you can find an influencer that might only have 30 people following them, but those 30 people are so much of a tribe of ardent followers, or people that are so dialed into this specific influencer that they'll literally buy anything from them. And you might understand that those 30 are of such tremendous value that you still want that person to be an influencer. So technically speaking, I believe we're all influencers to some degree, but you want to basically be very strategic about it. Just as I talked about in number 1, you want to understand who your target market is. And if you understand that target market that you're trying to target has an influencer in that market, and you want to basically make sure that you're dialed into that, and you want to try to replicate and find as many of those influencers that also dial into, if not the same market, similar markets, so that you're able to, generate that massive following. And number 9, storytelling is still big, but documentation may be even bigger. This goes back to what I'm going to talk about with the last point, but also with the influencer marketing. One of the big things that people have really dialed into is being able to kind of tell your story with, going, Instagram Live and stories, Snapchat. You're able to, at a push of a button, say exactly what's going on in your life right now. And that's absolutely powerful. So what it allows people to do is it allows people to actually consume content from people they admire and that are influencers in their lives. And what that basically means is that at any point in time, you can really figure out what that person is doing to, reach their goal or be successful. If you're talking about a business standpoint, if you have a professional athlete that you love to watch and know everything about, then you're able to follow, LeBron James and see what his Instagram Live feed is about, or see what his story is about, what's his favorite music. All these things are at your fingertips. So the reason that I say that is that people really attach to stories. Like the story of, I just spoke about LeBron James. Obviously, his story from where he has come from and where he is at now has been a tremendous story. Imagine if from day one he was documenting his entire life, and you can literally go through and see every piece of his journey to be who he is. That's the power of documentation. Now, it's great because you understand where he ended up, but even if he didn't, you could probably get an idea of maybe where he would have fallen off, or maybe where things didn't go correctly. But keep in mind that you, as a business owner, if you're just breaking ground and you're just starting your business in 2019, understand that you are going to be able to document every single piece of the puzzle for what you're doing and what you're building. And that type of power to be able to create and document your journey is going to be extremely powerful, because it allows you to basically connect with people, because they can see the behind the scenes of everything that you're doing. And again, it doesn't have to be necessarily every single second or every single minute of, your entire day, but taking a snapshot of your journey and creating that content in a lot of different ways, whether it be blogging, whether it be, creating podcasts, whether it be, going, Facebook Live or Instagram Live, or creating stories, or being active on Snapchat, whatever it is, you can document what you're doing. The biggest thing is probably just to be as consistent as possible with that. And, that goes back to that every company is a media company, where, you're definitely going to dial into what medium you're going to choose as best as possible, and just choose one and kind of leverage that as much as possible. But again, understand that storytelling, people love stories, but documentation, where you can basically take all those small pieces of the story and create one large story at the snap of a finger, is even potentially bigger. Number 10, offline and online are going hand in hand. And this is not just for people that have storefronts. Today's Small Business Saturday. So obviously the power of, local businesses is huge. The power of actually having a storefront is definitely huge. But the people that really, in my opinion, will win out and do tremendously well. And this is with a caveat. It all depends on your target market. It all depends on your goal. But the idea is that if you are able to merge the offline with the online, you will be light years ahead of everybody. The reason for it is that digital is not going anywhere. I've heard people say that, social media is not going to last, it's going to die out. Most of the time that I've heard that, I've thought that, maybe people are just a little bit afraid of social media, or afraid of, digital tools. And I completely understand that. But understand that it's really not going anywhere. But neither is offline. The type of connection that you have and that you can have when you go and meet somebody for coffee, or you go and shake a customer's hand or a client's hand, is going to be huge. And even though future generations may not value it as much, it's really, really difficult to replicate that. However, it is being done. Obviously, people are creating empires via social media, so it's not like it's impossible. But I think that there's a certain special connection that you have when you can look at somebody face to face, when you can shake their hand, when you can give them a hug, handshake, whatever it is. That's something that's really, really unique. So if you're able to take the online and couple it with the offline and have both go hand in hand, that's where that sweet spot is. And I had a I Am CEO podcast that we talked a little bit about it, that should be launching in a couple months. But the idea is really to have that merging of offline and online, and that's in marketing, that's in every piece, because if you're able to do that, then you're able to reach that overall sweet spot. And I think you're way ahead of the competition. Number 11. Customization is royalty. And I always try to say not king or queen, just to make it transparent. Let's just say royalty, because it really is going to be an overall unique user experience that is going to win out. And as I've said over and over and over and over again, understanding your target market and being able to provide them a custom service or a customer experience is going to be absolutely huge. And that's why it's so important to kind of niche down. So you're going to have ways to do that. AI and machine learning are going to play a big part of that because it's going to automate a lot of those things. As I talked about earlier, with Alexa, I'm going to be able to understand exactly when I run out of something. And Alexa already knows when I usually order a specific product. So it's going to order it for me, or it's going to ask me if I want to order it. That is huge. So that customization is huge. And if I go to somebody else's Alexa app, they're not going to ask them if they want to purchase the exact same thing because they have purchased an entirely different product. So you really want to think about your products and services as an entrepreneur and business owner in the exact same light, that you are trying to create some type of customized experience. And that customized experience is not going to be such that is going to overextend you because you're providing a unique customer experience for every single person. But the idea is that you're so dialed into your niche, and your niche is something that is, or some people, I should say, that are profitable, that it's going to allow you to opportunity to be able to drill down, to niche down, and to replicate that entire experience. And it's going to be so custom because nobody else in your industry is doing that. And that's going to be extremely advantageous to you and to your success, because it's going to be and dial into what I talked about in number 6, where the clients and the customers are in control. So when you're able to provide that unique experience, you're going to be head and shoulders above all the competition. So understand that's only going to become more and more important. So make sure that you keep that in mind and you pay attention to that. Number 12. People's attention spans are continuing to decrease. So you're seeing a move towards video, and people are reading less. And again, I'm saying a lot of the same things over, but there's a tremendous amount of content. And I'm going to touch on that in the next point, but there's a tremendous amount of content. And largely because there's so much content, people have less and less attention spans than they've had before. So you're going to have to grab their attention faster and quicker. But again, one of the ways to interact and to counter that is to be dialed into your target market, because you understand your target market more than anybody else. You understand if they don't want a red carpet treatment because they hate the color red, so they want a blue carpet treatment. So you understand maybe in all of your content, you're never going to use the color red ever, because you know that they hate red. So little things like that, while it sounds so small, goes so much farther when you're able to do that, and you're able to dial into, your people's and your target clients' interests and what they're involved in and what they like to do. All those things are extremely important. So when you're able to dial into that attention span, you're going to be able to connect with them on a deeper level. But understand that because that attention span is growing smaller, you're going to have to grab them quicker. You're going to have to show that blue carpet quicker than you ever have, to show them that you have the perfect experience. And you have to do it in a way that communicates with them very, very well, so that they will consume more of your content, so that they will decide to maybe actually read your blog post, because you've leveraged and quote unquote baited them with a video that is so dialed into what it is that they're looking for, that now they will spend the extra time, because there is a lot of competition out there for the content that's out there, because there's a tremendous amount of content. But because yours has been so in line with what it is that they're looking for, then you're going to decide to they're going to decide to actually take in your content. So definitely something that's extremely important. People are reading less, so using bullet points and things like that are going to be very, very important. But also look and continue to see that mixed content where you have the audio, video, and the blog posts all intertwined into one, so that people can take in and consume that content in whatever way that they can and they desire, I should say. So number 13, content isn't going anywhere. Video, vertical video specifically, and audio, and there's going to be less reading. So I mentioned that already, as it gets easier and easier to create content, as I talked about in the last chat, the chat before last, I should say, the chat number 94, I talked about the power of Anchor and how you're able to, at a snap of a finger, create a podcast. And because you're able to create podcasts, you're able to create your own content without, a lot of technical how-to and a lot of technical knowledge. And it goes automatically to Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, all those places automatically. So the idea is that there's going to be even more content. And because there's even more content, it's going to be even noisier and even more competitive. So you have to make sure that you understand that and understand that you're trying to target your client. And specifically where I touched on the idea of vertical video, it's the idea that, platforms like especially IGTV, if you've ever tried to edit an IGTV video off of IGTV, meaning that you didn't actually record it on your mobile device and you're trying to switch it over to IGTV specifications, it is a bear because it's not really built for you to not have the content built on the website. And there's sites out there that allow you to transfer it. But if you really understand, I think psychologically, the reason for Instagram, which is to create native content on Instagram, is to consume content specifically on Instagram, to not necessarily use a computer, to not necessarily, use all these, platforms that are out there in order to create this content. You're basically just using your phone to do that. I think that also speaks to the number 7, the authenticity, where you're not seeing these huge companies that have ginormous budgets and ginormous marketing video budgets where they're spending to create these really high value video features or commercials or stories, whatever it is. You're seeing that somebody that just has a smartphone is able to compete with them because these specifications require you to basically essentially do it natively there. Of course, again, you can convert it, but it's inherently built for somebody to just pick up their phone and create a video directly on the spot. So it's very interesting to see what's happening, and it's giving more and more consumers the power. What is going to happen largely because there's just so much content out there. As I always say, the cream will rise to the top, and you're seeing a lot more of that where people are having to create valuable content, and they're having to create valuable niche content so that they can make sure that they break through the noise. And I think it's an incredible opportunity, and it's super exciting if you're able to leverage that and take advantage of that very well. And number 14, live video is here, and it's only getting better. So again, as I talked about with number 7 and number 8, as far as authenticity and influencer marketing, the reason for all that is because you can literally flip a switch on your phone, so to speak. Not really a switch, but you get what I mean. You can press a button and you can basically go live. You can go live. You can literally talk about anything that you want right now. You don't have to wait for a video shoot. You don't have to wait for a production company to come. You can literally create that right now. So because of that, you're seeing and going to see a lot more live video. But here's the thing, you're also going to see a lot more authentic videos. You're going to see people that have crappy videos, largely because they're being authentic. But here's the thing, as I talked about with the documentation, you're going to see somebody that's creating a video one day, and then a year from now, they're going to be creating some of the best IGTV videos you've ever seen, or the best Snapchat content that you've ever seen. So the idea is that you want to document that so that you can see where you started and you see where you are now, because I think that adds to part of the story, as I talked about in number 9. So again, like I touched about, that all these things are kind of dialing in, but you're going to see more and more live video. It is still here. As I mentioned, it's only going to get better, especially as platforms like Facebook, obviously Instagram, leverage that as well, Periscope, of course, but you have a lot of these platforms that are out there that people are using simultaneously as well to kind of create and build their overall content. So I think it's incredibly important. These future predictions are not anything, I think, out of the box. I think there's definitely a lot of synergies and overlap, but one of the reasons I started out, number 1 in terms of it being so important is because while there are 14, predictions that I'm making and that have been made, by others as well too, you really want to understand your target market. I think that is the absolute biggest thing that you can ever learn. And if you don't have a target market, start to get one and figure out who your avatar is so that you can drill down, so they can figure out which of these even makes sense in your world and how you can kind of leverage that so you can stay ahead of your competition. So that's basically it. Those are the 14 things. This is Gresham signing out. As always, please be sure to sign up for the course when it goes live at youramedia.company. And I will be back next week with another special CEO Chat podcast.